All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is October 13th, 2018. This is a Saturday morning webinar, and the title of today's webinar is Looking Left to Trade Right. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to go ahead and get started. By the way, I'll just show something here just real quick, just so everybody knows. If you get to your member login, this is for subscribers, of course. Subscribers go to their members login. Just remember, if you want to learn about that phantom trade, that's that video right there. It's about 17 minutes long. I am going to go over a little bit of this morning because that is one of those look to the left to trade the right that I really like to look for. Okay, because a phantom trade, I don't know if a lot of you are really taking some of the deeper retracement trades. I get asked all the time, why do you get blue bars in a downtrend? And you also get, basically your red bars in an uptrend. Well, the reason for that is because they're called deep probes. We designed the software purposely that way so that we could trade those. It kind of gives like a little signal light for us. Okay. But first off, just because there's new people with us and everything, I want to show something here real quick. Now, I like this little webinar template myself. I use it quite a bit. And even if I don't use it, I see it in my mind. It's real important to be able to see it in your mind. And always remember, to watch for, potential trend changes. To give an example, obviously looking at this chart with what we see with Lightning 3, you've got a pretty major downtrend, right? Okay. But is it actually a downtrend right now? Well, to do that, you'd have to turn on Lightning 2 or Lightning 1. Okay. Now, the dots those are actually formed by basically what we do. We have an indicator called Lightning 3. Lightning 3 is set up on a 4-range chart, which is the one we use to trade. See, 4-range. And it's a 15 swing strength. Now, 15 swing strength means that it's looking at 15 bars, but as you know, 15 bars don't just go straight up or straight down. You can have a bar up, you can have a bar down, you can have a bar up, you can have 2 bars up, you can have a bar down. But it's looking at those averages, and it's also got an algorithm built into it so that it prints this dot quicker than it actually prints 15 bars. It's basically, in other words, in a long, it's looking for higher lows, and in a short, it's looking for lower highs. Okay, so that's the theory basically behind Lightning 3, and this is one of your most important indicators in my opinion, because I like to look at my trend on the left, and I like to look at my trend on the right. Okay, so this is on the left right here. We're in a downtrend, right? Okay, but then use your Lightning 2, and you'll see that you've actually started a little uptrend. See here, thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay, so basically, if you look to the left to trade the right, you realize that on the left side of the chart, you're actually heading down, but on the right side of the chart, you are heading up. Okay, so now our job is to draw on our charts, right? Because when you look to the left to trade the right, you're basically looking to the immediate left first, okay, and you're looking over to your further left next. So what I'll normally do is draw a line at that one, and I'll draw a line at this one. Okay, and basically what you're doing then is you're waiting for, if you happen to walk in, let's say this was at, this was after the market. I just downloaded some data and tossed it on here before the webinar. But anyway, this is actually close to the close, so we'll have to get into 5 o'clock-ish, to basically start the trading again. But we can do that, But what you're looking for is if you walked in here and this is where the prices were, like right now, then you've obviously got to get it to where you can actually get your retrace. You're not going to chase trades except in the case of like little boxes in, and then it better go your way. Okay, everybody see what I mean there? If you want to chase a trade, and I chase trades occasionally myself even, because, if you see, let's say for instance, oil starts just dropping like a stone, and you see even a little area where they just kind of consolidate, and you see it break again, yeah, I'll take that a lot of times. But you got to be careful, because then if it pops in your face, you want to get out quickly, because you might be, to give an example, on a huge thrust up that pulls back 20 ticks or so. Okay, so everybody just remember that. Now let's go over real quick though. If you were diagnosing your chart this morning, let's say that, well, this is in the afternoon, but let's say you got to your chart and you were going to trade around 5 o'clock Central Time. All right, what direction would you be looking for this to trade now, just by what you're seeing on the chart? Because the first thing that you need to ask yourself, of course, is which direction am I going to be looking to trade? Because that's pretty important. Because if you're, to give an example, if you're short against an uptrend, you're going to get bitten. You're going to get bit. There's no question about that. Okay? So let's look at the actual chart and let's see what's going on. We'll bring the chart over. All right. Now notice that our software actually catches this uptrend. See there? Our software has changed from rose color to the lime green. Now, for new people that are in the room, just real quick, in your downtrend, you have what we call the magenta color, which is simply a downtrend midband. When it turns to red, that means the session low has been hit. Now, when you see this, it's not like on this bar. You're going to notice that when that turns red, see, it's way down there on that bar. Okay, and if you looked at that bar back a ways, like at the session, you'd see that oil had just hit that, like during the evening or during the morning. See, that was a session low. All right, and that's what that actually tells you, is that that's session low. And then when you start going sideways, you're actually looking more for trend changes, because, as a rule, you're going to get this first phantom. That's a good thing to get, by the way, because, if you think about crude oil with 2 contracts, if you tagged this at line 7 and got it at line 4 out, that's 6, 6, and 6. Not 666, but 18 ticks, right? That's 18 ticks. So you could probably easily get, 12, 14 of those ticks. So 2 contracts, that's $280. So everybody see why we take these phantom type trades too? Now, could you also go long here? And if you look to the left to trade the right, you actually could, because see, you had a thrust, you had a retrace, you had another thrust. So even on this smaller bars, smaller lightning, for instance, you're actually starting to head up when you start going thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay? So could you buy this when it comes right back down to support across there? And the answer is yes. And a lot of our people do that. And a lot of times if you just box it in too big, let's say you box it in something like this, you're seeing, at the time, let's say you bought it, okay? You bought it when it touched the line, and you see that you've got a swing way up here, or you didn't buy it yet, but you got a swing up here. Then you buy it here, that's almost to me too late. Because what if it just went from, okay, you buy it out of the box and it just goes to here? See what I mean? Because that could easily have double topped. So I don't like personally a box like that. I like a box more like even this, to give an example, where you just simply draw like a box, maybe 6 ticks, something like that. Because that way, sure, you might feel a little heat on it. See how that would have gotten you in, and then it came right back down, gave you a little higher low. Okay, let's see. Can draw a box just based on swings. Being on your question, yeah, actually, if you look at these, this type of swings on your chart, yeah, you can draw your boxes accordingly. Because just to give you an example, if I was getting up, well, this is in the afternoon, so if I was trading in the late afternoon, I would be drawing my box something like this right here. I'd look at this swing. I'd say, okay, it could come down a little bit lower than that, and it could come just a little higher than that. So I'd probably want to get that trade. One contract here and one contract here, something like that. Okay, but I'd have to put my stop underneath the swing, right? Like so. Okay. Or I might even put it where I just don't want it to close, below this swing here. See the little thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust? Well, you shouldn't even close below that. But see, that's so close to that, sometimes you just put your stop there. Is best to do. Okay. But looking at your actual chart, it's a little easier to see this too. Okay. For instance, if you were to get in, looking to the left to trade the right, let's say that you're a little gutsy and you do this little mid-band trade like we teach here. Okay. Well, you could put your stop literally, under the mid-band as far as that goes, with this little micro swing, even if you wanted to. Let me see if it'll draw. It may not be big enough to draw. Yeah, it drew it. See, there's a little swing, thrust, retrace, thrust. So, if you were looking at this and you said, okay, I'm getting in here, but I don't want it to take this out with a close of a bar, that could even get you to the point where you could save some coin just in case you don't have to put your stop all the way down here. Because these swings, as a rule, on the left should hold. You see what I mean? What you're looking at, you're always looking at these thrust, retrace, thrusts, and that is an identified swing. Okay. Now remember, you've got 3 different identified swings on your charts. Okay. Let me see if I've got, bear with me one second. I think I've got it here. Yeah, I've got it. Just one second. Let me get my lightning up. And let me get my question log back. I knocked it out of the way. All right. See, what you've got to remember is on your chart, you've got 3 types of identified swings. Okay. You've got lightning 3, which is basically that larger one. To give an example, being when you ask that question, you would have like a dot print here, a dot print here, a dot print here, and maybe it would print here if it was already had done it, to where it could tell that was a swing. Okay. But on your smaller ones, we don't print the dots because it would just there'd be dots all over the place. But you can print them if you want to. Okay. But see the difference is, like lightning 2, to give an example, I drew 3 uptrends is what I did here. These are not downtrends, obviously. But, as you see these identified swings, this swing right here is only identified when this swing is taken out to the upside. Okay, it identifies that swing. Now notice on here, it gave a higher low, but when is this swing identified? When it takes out that swing. So by going up here, that identifies that swing. So if you think about this in terms like I try to teach all the time, this is a primary swing over here. This is like a primary swing to this one. Okay, but to this swing here, to give an example, this is a swing and this is a swing, and you can draw lines at both of them. Okay, let's see. Can the indicator work with Renko or only range? Michael A. It works with Renko, but keep in mind with Renko, you're not going to get them drawing as much. But the way we designed our lightning is it'll draw based on a 4-range chart on the close of a bar on even a Renko. So, it'll draw pretty nicely even on a Renko chart, as long as you don't get, too large of a Renko chart. You don't want to, smooth out your swings so much you can't see them. But you also don't want to be faked into them all the time either. What I personally like about 4-range bars, and we've been trading them now for going on 10 years, is that when you have these 4-range bars, you can definitely see the lightning trend. We call this lightning. It's basically zigzags, it's swings, but we just called it lightning ever since we designed our indicator. But, for instance, let's say that you had boxed this in right down here, and you were wanting to ride this trade for as much as you could possibly get with this particular trend. Well, then you put your stop right there. Secondary swing would be right here. So, if I was in this, for instance, let's say that this had been a mid-band and I boxed it in or whatever, then I'm riding it with the zigzag lightning. And as soon as my zigzag lightning gives up the ghost, like right here or even here, which is the same as over here on lightning 2, see? So you could use lightning 1 or you could use lightning 2 as your out. So in other words, if this was just, let's say this was a high and then you started going like this, got a lower high and then lower low, a little bit, and then all of a sudden they take this out, then you'd be stopped out. But what if they just went like this and made a higher low than here and then headed up again? You don't get stopped out. Let me show you what I mean on the actual chart, because this I use this quite a bit to show people how to see these swings. Let's go back to the actual chart here real quick. All right. So right now, basically, let me get rid of this lightning 1. You can use lightning 2, which is a little bit larger. I went ahead and changed my colors, by the way, on my lightning 2. Now, to give an example, if you had gotten in here, where would your stop be right this very moment on lightning 2? Anybody? Where would it be? It'd be right there. And so you could actually put an actual stop with Object Trader right there. Let's go ahead and do midnight blue for this chart. All right, so you could put a stop right there, and as long as this thing headed up, you're good to go. Okay, that's the whole reason that we designed Object Trader the way we did to begin with, is so that you could use the swings as a stop. You can use these lines as a stop. If you use line 6, after something's really thrust up, that's when I'll start using line 6. Charles uses line 4. Now, to me, that's too deep, and it's up to, now granted, if you've just got that one contract left, you could hold it all day until it starts zigzagging back down on lightning 3 if you wanted to. This is all about getting out at better spots, is what this amounts to. Okay, that's the whole idea of using the micro type lightning. For instance, let's just watch this, and I'll speed it up, and you tell me if this wouldn't get you out at a good spot. See, there's your stop again. We'll just let it go and do its thing. Now see, that went red on lightning 1. Hadn't gone red on lightning 2. Still green, you're okay. See, lightning 2 held. Let me speed it up a little bit more so you can see it. Okay, you could clearly see that went red, and you would have been stopped out. Okay, so now granted, this is actually a pretty good spot to be looking to get back in. So you may get stopped out and get back in. And that's one of the things about like using the lesser lightning. But if you think about it, if you went all the way from this top of this shadowed area to mid-band, that is 24 ticks. What if it went a little bit below mid-band? That might be 28 ticks. You see what I'm getting at? So when this starts stair-stepping the other direction, you could get out of a trade and then get back in if you wanted to. Where would you get in this trade right now, to give an example? Well, I'd be looking no lower than here. Okay, see my kind of a double top. It got a little zig there, but that's actually a pretty good little swing there. So I wouldn't want to go any lower than this. So if I was to get in this trade, I would want it to touch this line. See, looking to the left to trade the right. And I wouldn't want it to go any more than just wicking this. So could I get ready for a trade? Let's see if it works. We'll put Object Trader on. So looking to the left to trade the right, we know that that is support right there on Lightning 3. And if you need to see it a little bit cleaner than that, so you can see that that's Lightning 3 right there. Okay? Now notice we've still got our box drawn right here. Okay? So let's see if we can get in a trade. And the thing is, what you've got to do is you've got to realize that they don't always come all the way down here. So this is going to be considered a zone. Okay, what I like to do personally is I like to draw a box, and I'll draw it something like that in my mind first, and then I just simply set my region up by going like this. Set my region, bring it down. Now if you're wanting to get the bottom of the box, don't turn on the top. Okay, so what you have to do first off is you have to actually ask it to get the long inside, which you're going to try to get right off that line. And I usually do like a touch +2. That way, if it does come close to this within 2 ticks and bounces, that'll fire my trade. Okay. Now, what you can do, like Mindy was asking just a minute ago, you can go ahead and do just like one contract first. Okay. That way you're not taking a chance that this is going to just go all the way down to phantom, to give an example. Now, I always like to look to the left to trade the right, and I can see where they've checked also. Okay, so for instance, you have a low here, a high, higher, little higher low, higher high, higher low, which pretty much checked across there, didn't it? See there, just across that area? Pops up again, pulls back, thrusts up. Identified swing. I don't want it for sure to come down in this area here, but a lot of times oil, if it breaks what we call micro, they'll go down and check these medium swings. Well, your medium swing's all the way down here, but see, they wouldn't check that because they'd have to break phantom. Okay, now if we're going to head up, keep in mind that as long as you're heading up, you are never going to break this line 0. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. It may come down to phantom, but it's not going to break it. So what Mindy was talking about was basically, would you do like one contract? And the answer is yes, you could do that. Now in Ninja 8, I'm hoping to actually multiply a trade. To give an example, I'd like to be able to take this trade, and I'd also like to be able to take this trade. So in other words, if this was to come down and get my first contract, I want to be able to actually jump in with like this one also. That's something I hope to add to Ninja 8, very shortly. All right, let's go back with our region again. Let's see if we can get something. We're going to go inside touch +2, and we'll see if we can get something. Now keep in mind that by doing touch +2, that's letting it at least come down close to this. But if it bounces like off a mid-band and goes back through the top of this box, all I have to do is turn this on in real time, or even hit market order if I want. Let's see if we can get something. Okay, see, now there's your trade. But if you actually turn this off and turn this on, then you can actually get another contract added if it goes through there. If it goes one more tick, see, it hadn't done it just yet. It's got to go 2 + 1. There you go, just got your other contract. And of course, then you can put your stop as soon as it starts lightening up, which it's doing, see here, and you can bring your stop on under here, and I usually like to do exit on close. Okay, so basically, see, that gives you a good shot at getting in perfectly on what we call like the looking to the left to trade the right. Now, was that just luck hitting that? I'd like to actually have one more if it breaks this, or if it touches this. See if it does. Yeah, I'm going to take it anyway. All right, see how it's just trying to check my little support level right here? That's actually like basically, okay, it's starting to head up, so it should technically do a little thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay, now we're using lightning 2. If we were using lightning 1, you'd see it. It's a little quicker. All right, but notice that by doing that, now I can go ahead and put one of my targets here. Look to the left to trade the right. They took out that swing. There's another swing over here that's lightning 3. So I could put a target there, and then I could ride a runner. And see, what I'm doing by doing that is just putting targets at these lightning 3 swings. See, it already hit that one, so we're going to go for that one there. And of course, if you went higher, you can see a lightning swing all the way up here, like so. Like, come on, draw. Okay, so let's see what it does. We've already got our lines drawn. Let's just see what it does. Okay, now where could I put my stop? Anybody? Could I also do it automatically? And the answer is yes. I've got a little trail stop that I can use here called lightning, and I can use 2 swing strength instead, and I hit my little space bar, and I know where that stop is, so I'm gonna fade it back just a little bit under that swing, and then engage it. Now, as it actually heads up, it'll use lightning 2 as my stop. Watch and see if we can stay in this trade. Lightning 2. Got a target. See how lightning 2 just moved up? Let's just go ahead and move our target out of the way for the fun of it. That's a pretty good little move. Lightning 2 should be under here pretty soon. Now this one doesn't look as much to the right as it does to the should pop it up here any moment if my stop's working. Yeah, it kicked it all the way up there. So it's actually with 2 tick offset. I'm not sure exactly what I've got going on there. I'll have to check into it and find out. Maybe the replay, truthfully. Okay, let's see. We got 1, so we're going to move our target. And now that it's thrust up like that, couldn't I turn on my, well, I've got my stop already, right? I've also got a PM that I can use. It looks like it's going to hit my stop. And there you go. See how easy that is to actually do on your chart? Let me get rid of the little trail stop now. Now, by the way, that trail stop's there even if you don't show it active on your chart. Okay, we designed this to where you can see where the trail stop is. Like, let's say that you use the trend one, for instance, and you choose line 4. All right, it's going to automatically know line 4 is the stop, but if you hit the space bar, it'll show you that it's on line 4. See here? If I do line 5 or 6 or whatever, see how it shows? If I use line 0, see how it's down here? Okay, so all that does is show it, but when you have the stop in, it'll automatically tag it to begin with. Okay. Now, if you ever want to ride a real gusto trade, and you don't mind giving up a lot at the end of a trade, you can definitely start using your line 0, but you're going to go from 48 ticks pullbacks. Okay. And I don't recommend that personally, because I would just watch this little chart right here. And if you start getting stair-stepping, let's see if we do it all. We'll see where lightning 3 shows up. There's a lightning 3. I'd put my stop for sure right under there. Even if I was riding a real gusto. See if it takes us. Now you could actually put it there, and it just got you. Everybody see that? You can actually use like your lightning 3 if you want to. You know, it's up to the individual how they want to do, but from 72.01 all the way to 71.64 is 30 ticks. But it could keep you in a move that literally just goes all day long, because some of them do. Okay, and lightning 3 will catch that type of trade. I don't personally recommend it as much. We like to actually get out. You know, for instance, could you get out looking at this? Let's say you got in down here where I got my box drawn. You're riding, you're riding, you're riding, you're riding, you're riding, you're riding. You get taken out right there when it starts stair-stepping back down, or under the primary swing here, which you still got stopped out. Then you went back in, got a nice little pop, thrust retrace, took you out. See what I mean? If you use lightning 2. Okay. Anybody have any questions on this so far? Let's see, Mindy says, confused when it breaks 3, but 3 is not identified in a smaller swing, and you say we can take it in the other direction. Well, keep in mind that, just to give you an example, like right here, okay, this is like, what, 3 something in the morning. What's the trend starting to be right now? Anybody? Yeah, it's heading down. But until it broke this swing on the left, if you were really looking for a gusto trade, what if this would have done this? Let's do a hypothetical. Let's get rid of lightning 2. All right, so right now you're seeing a high, a low, barely higher high, higher low, but we know that it broke it, right? But what I'm saying there is that if somebody literally wanted to ride, you know, what if you got in down here at 70.51 area or something, and you just literally rode this thing all day long? Could a person do that? And the answer is yes, because, you know, what if this hypothetically instead gave this higher low here and did this instead? And then did this and never took that out and did this again? Wouldn't that still be considered an uptrend? And the answer to that is yes. Okay. But that's not what it did do. It actually, the lightning, you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, right? And you did break this area, because we can draw it with lightning 2. Draw it right here. See, so it did break that. So you're actually now heading down and not up, right? Okay, so from 72.01, you're starting to get a high, a low, a lower high on your lightning 3. So what would you be looking for? Anybody? Anybody at all? I'd be looking for a break below here. Something like this. Well, arrow line. I'd want to break. I'd want to pull back and kiss. And I'd draw my line here and also here by looking to the left to trade the right. So wouldn't that be an area that more than likely, if it touches it, that you'd get this trade? Like so. Right? Okay? Because, like I said, keep in mind, you've got 3 trends on that chart at all times. You've got 4 And you've even got more than that, but let's just stop at 4, because 4 is actually a 12 range chart with 5 swing strength, which can be as much as 30, 40 tick swings. And that's what we have found works quite well on every single market. Have you ever noticed that a lot of times you get, these little, well, look at this right here, 73 to 22. That's about a 50 tick move. That's a huge move right there. But as a rule, when you get a low and you get another high, there's 96 to 22. That's about a 26 tick trade. We find that 30, when they go from there, they go like 30, 40 to 50 areas, and then you get these huge ones that are these 100 tick runs. But you can almost take that to the bank that's what they do, because see, from this swing under here, let's say 35 to 89, that's about 50 ticks. Here's another one that's almost your 100 tick again. See? Of course, we've been getting a lot of swings on oil lately too. You want to see if this actually worked? Let's just leave this exactly like I've drawn it here and see if this works or if we bounce. Now, we do have a swing right here. Okay? We broke lightning 3 here, but my swing on the left is here. Let's see if it breaks. We'll speed it up. Okay, we broke. Getting lower highs. See there? You're starting to head down. So now you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high again. So if you were getting up at 6:30 in the morning, what's your overall that you're thinking that it might do? See if we can get a trade. Let's look at the actual chart. Let's get rid of some of this junk on it. We don't need all this. Okay, our chart actually says for sure that we're heading down, not up, right? So where's our next trade on this chart? Anybody? Let's draw on our chart and see if we can nail it. All right, look to the left. Can't take this out or we're heading up again, so that's not a line we're looking at. We're looking at this one here. See it? Thrust, retrace, thrust. So about 64. You've got another one over here that it looks like they've already checked when they tried to take it down, but I'll draw a line there too. All right, so we're looking for a sweet spot in this area right here to me. Look to the left. Immediate left is your best one. Your lightning 3 swing. Let's see what it did. Hadn't hit it yet. It's right at mid-band. Didn't hit our swing, so I don't like that one as much. Let's see if it, could you have rolled it over? Yes, you could have boxed it right there and got a 10-tick trade already. Let's see if it'll tag that swing. I had that within 2 ticks. We should have gotten that one actually if we'd turned on Object Trader. But let's see if it tags it. There you go. So if you were to tag that right there, could you actually put a trade in? That's line 6, short 1. Put my stop at line 8. Okay, put my stop at line 8. Let's just see if we can get down to the low. And we'll also even add one if it happens to break lightning 1. Let's see if we get something. Oh, here's another swing to the left. Let's put a target here. I just saw that. See it? Bring your stop down now, just in case this decides to just blow up. Did we get a little trade so far? Now, keep in mind that what you can also do is when you get a phantom type trade like this and you get down to mid-band, just get ready to, you're short, so you want to buy, right? So if it gets right to mid-band and you want to take the coin, a lot of our people do that. Phantom to mid-band, your stop's in. You could even tighten it a little bit more. You got to swing right across there. I'd put exit on close. Still is. All right, see, that's at mid-band right there, so I'd probably protect one at mid-band. And I've got my stop in just in case. Let's see if it goes any lower. We could even turn on PM just in case it decides to go up instead. Lower high. Everybody see what we're doing here? Looking to the left to trade the right. You're looking at those little swings. And I wanted a phantom, and that first one wasn't a phantom. Now, if you're going to take that one, you pretty much just, yeah, that's good. There's support right there. Got our PM turned on just in case it goes green. PM would change green if it takes out that line right where my cursor's at. There, it just went green and you're flat. Okay? Definitely not a bad way to trade, right? Now, this bounced off support right here. If you got up at 6:42 in the morning, like right now, does anybody see where you might get a trade here? Let's just say that I got up, because this is the time I do like to get up, right in this area right here, actually a little earlier. But what you can actually do is do a region. You got support right over here with our lightning 3. I would probably do something like this. So you got support right here on your lightning 1. So if this was to decide to go down, I'd want to at least break this. And if it was to decide to go up, I'd want to at least break this. So could you box that in like that? That way you're not just getting wicked in. You've got to swing. And you've got to swing over here. Right here and also here. That's where my box is. So let's see if one of them fires. And we'll do whichever one it does. See, we're looking to the left to trade the right. If it breaks support, you're going to go down to here. Okay? It is starting to get what I consider to be almost a trend change. 1, 2, 3. See there? You always look for that 1, 2, 3. Now, if we're going to really change trends, it's going to break this trend line. Like so. Well, keep in mind, Minaj, what you're getting up, though, in a timing, though, that is like, well, basically, you don't know if you're going to continue going short or if you're going to start, very possibly heading up. Okay, because you got this sideways background. I'd put my stop just underneath that swing. And you could even add if it happens to give you a PM2. Now, I personally like a trend line a lot of times. I'm pretty sure I took that trade on Friday morning because I remember drawing a trend line when I got at my computer. Remember I said I slept in a little bit on Friday? So if you learn this type of trading, I should rarely have a losing day, David, on your question. I think if you actually learn to take some of our favorite trades that we teach and everything, that you can have more than good days. Because we call very, very good trades in the room all the time. Look to the left, trade the right. I see a swing right across there. for one of my targets. See it right there? Also have a swing right across here. That would be a double top. I'd probably fade that. Let's see what happens. And I'd bring my stop up. One thing about it, if you start using our trail stops to begin with, you can stay in some pretty good trades to begin with. What I could actually do is I could turn on Lightning 2 as my trail stop, or I can actually even use it as simply scaling out. In other words, if I lose like Lightning 2, I could go ahead and get out of my last contract. See what I mean? So if that goes red, I could get out of my last contract and leave my stop way down here. It doesn't matter because I would get out based on Lightning. Let's see. Let's see. Michael, yeah, I see what you mean. Now, if you like Rankos instead, that's absolutely fine. And we do also have Rankos built into Object Trader. Now, we've taught this particular method for so long that, we probably aren't going to change in the room. I don't mind a Renko chart. I'll show you our Object Trader Renko. I'll draw a chart with Renko. And I like personally, if I'm using a Renko chart, to use more of the little quicker one, like a 2-4 to give an example. Had to move my little window out of the way. See, I got some Rankos I bought too. Let me look. Here's my Object Trader Renko right here, 242. Let me pop it on there. But see how, Michael, what I like personally also, though, is with these 4-range charts, you get to use these power meters and things like that, which to me is very, very powerful. Okay? Because I'm seeing, just like I see on this little swing chart here that I made, exactly this type of trades every day. So, if you're a trader that likes to get out early, before it gets all the way to mid-band, that's your stop. If you were looking at Lightning 2, that's your stop. If you were trading Lightning 3, that's your stop. Okay? That's if you're really going for gusto type trades, if a person wanted to do that. Now, I personally like this one here, but what I normally do is use Lightning 1 and I use my secondary swing, which is pretty close to this one to begin with. Because usually they don't break secondary swings unless they're going down to medium swings. Let's see if we got out yet. Oh, we must have hit a PM2. I'm not sure when it was. It might have been on that bar right there, but we're flat, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay? Now, if you were trading this and you walked into our trading room this morning, where's your next trade? Because we already know where to draw on the chart. We know what we're looking for. We look to the left to trade the right. I see a swing across here. All right, that would be what I call a minor retracement. I see a swing here because that's our mid-band. This is actually a swing also, like so. It matches up with that one right there. So where's my trade on this chart? Right here. Okay, now if you want to trade what we call a micro retracement, your least retracement that you want to do in an uptrend is line 6 if it breaks stealth and line 6. And on a downtrend, you want to do it if it breaks line 2 and stealth and then rolls back over. But see, this one went all the way to mid-band anyway, so it didn't matter. Okay? But see, like right through here, to give an example, let's say that you had missed this and, this rollover had been called or something like that. It wasn't because we weren't open. But see, you never had the minimum criteria to get into it. except touching stealth, which I do like also. Okay. Let's see if this, our predictor's saying right here, so we'll move this. And I'm saying right here is my lightning 3. So I'm going to draw a box and see if I can get it. Touch +2. Let's see if we can get something. There's our open right there. We called this trade in the room on Friday, as a matter of fact. Anybody remember it? Could you actually add 1 when it pops back up through that box? So you got a touch +2 inside. You can even move your box live, by the way, if you want to. See how you can do that? Anybody scared of that trade just yet? Now, the safer way to trade this trade, by the way, is like, let me show you. Let's just kill this real quick. What's the safest way to trade this trade right now? If you were looking at this in real time, does anybody see a lightning swing right across here? You have a low, you have a high, you have a lower low, so that's a lightning swing right across here. Could you actually take it? Let's just see if we get 10 ticks even, just for the fun of it. And I'll do 2. We'll do it based on lightning 1. We already got it. It's too late now. Everybody see it where it went green and you got 10 ticks? Not yet. Pretty close. That should be 10 ticks. See, because those bars are 4 range each. See how easy that works right there? Let's see, what was your question, Lewis? Just a second. When we were trading, this is the first time I see the TMB button being utilized on a long or short. I'm confused. Well, what you'll want to do if you want to really learn about the TMB button, because I can tell you exactly how, I know how Charles likes to use the box is basically where it's defaulted. This is the default on it right here. Sorry. Like so. All right. Now, when you default with Object Trader, it's going to always leave these turned off because you don't want to get a trade willy-nilly. Okay. But if you wanted, for instance, to do a box, let's say, for instance, you did a box right here. All right. And let's, well, you already went long, right? But what if you left your box on there? Go ahead and put it back on. Now, the box will always draw with the last bar. But what if you had a box like this and you've already gotten a long, so you just simply left your short on instead, and if it broke support, you'd actually short it, if you happen to get a lower high, that is. So in other words, you'd have a high, a low, lower high, and then it breaks. You know, could you actually short the trade if something like that happened? We draw these boxes all the time. This is actually the opening trade. Remember, I called this trade on Friday morning. We actually got this trade in the room, and we drew on our charts. Matter of fact, we had a line drawn right here, and it took it out a little bit. Some of our people were short from the time trader box, but your safest trade is actually to let it start stair-stepping back up. Because see, at the time it was stair-stepping down, and when it broke that right there, it was stair-stepping back up. That is a much safer trade. Because if you just happen to buy it willy-nilly at line 4, you know, you can definitely feel some heat. If it's a swing like that was right there, a lot of times I will buy it there because, you know, I expected it fully to, you know, to go ahead and bounce. And I would have probably bought that trade right there on a closed bar. Okay. But then you could even add, for instance, if you box it in. Okay, did that answer that, Lewis? Let me show Michael was asking about like Renko bars. Okay, here's Renko bars right here. This is a 2-range Renko, a 2-4. Okay, and yes, you can draw lightning on this chart too. See, here's lightning 1 right here. See, and here's lightning 2. See, like that. Because this lightning is drawing on a 4-range chart. Because the way we've got lightning designed is, and you can change it to whatever you want it to be. But let's say, for instance, lightning 2, you've got it set on a 4-range, 2 swing strength. Okay, so it's still drawing on that 4-range chart, but it's waiting on a bar to close because we got it set on bar close, I believe. Let's check. Yeah, close on bar. Calculate on bar close. Okay, so yeah, you can use Renkos. I've even got a Renko that I paid for. Let me show it to you real quick. I bought this one from some guy online. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get it in Ninja 8 until he gets it finished. Let's see if it'll load. Hopefully it'll load. There we go. All right. This Renko right here is this SI Pro Renko. And basically, see, when you come down, you could draw your same swings, obviously. Now, notice that my Lightning 3s kind of got out of kilter, though, because didn't we have a Lightning 3 right here? Remember? You have a Lightning 3 here. So that's why I don't personally use, other Renkos. I bought these. And it's definitely not a bad Renko. I don't mind it as far as that goes. It keeps you from getting, faked in so easily, but wouldn't you have entered the same spot anyway? See that wicked candle right there? That's where I would have entered the trade on a conservative trade. And that's exactly that same spot, 71.71. Let's look at it. Yeah, 71.71. See it right there? So, I think it's kind of 6 of one and a half a dozen of another is what it really boils down to. I personally like the 4 range because I can see these swings in real time. And if you train your eye to see that, it's going to be a lot better for you. Now, another thing I want to go over real quick, we've got a couple of minutes left, but we'll stay about 5 minutes longer. I want everybody to realize that you've got a lot of what we call deep retracement trades on these charts. And if you get in the habit of taking what is called a phantom trade, it's going to make a world of difference in your paycheck, okay, from your broker. All right, let me just show you how it works. First off, you want to make sure that you go from one trend to another. Okay, let's just go like right here, basically right here. Okay, you had short, see the short mid-band? Your very first phantom is line 1 to 2 for a long, and that trade easily with 2 contracts paid you $200. Let's just say you scalp only. I'm not even going to count mid-bands. I just want to show you the phantoms. Okay? So you got another phantom right here at line 7. That one paid 10 ticks, so that's another $200. Line 8 would have been your stop. Never got stopped out. All right? If it ratchets down, you can take it again. There's a phantom, 10 ticks. It didn't ratchet down, so you didn't have to take this one, but this one actually worked also for 10 ticks, but we won't even count it. Let's just say that you did this one here for 10 ticks, this one here for 10 ticks. That's 200, that's 200, that's $400. There's another $400. There's another $400. It ratcheted down. Now you went to green midband. That's a phantom. $200 again. All right. It ratcheted, did not ratchet up, so you don't take the next one. All right. Then you had no phantom here, obviously, because if you boxed it in at all, you didn't get it. Here's a phantom setting up right here. Line 7. That one paid off. See what I mean? It is a deep probe, Mindy, but it's actually a trade that we call the phantom trade. Everybody remember when we nicknamed that phantom? We call this phantom because this is like a little ghosty shaded area at the bottom and the top. Okay? And what you're looking for, if you go by that certain criteria, always these trades pay off. Because to give an example, if you took this trade at Phantom and got 10 ticks, that's a $200 bill. Could that have also been a long down here? Yes. When you touch support. Look for your next Phantom. This one wasn't technically a Phantom. It never touched line 2. But you can box it and you would have gotten the trade anyway. There's a Phantom trade, 10 ticks. See there? Line 2. That one's not a Phantom, never touched line 6. That's a Phantom, that's $200. And now you're right where we're at right now. David, I've heard him say that, and to be truthful, I do not understand why he would even think that that's not a great trade, because I've got people making killings on the silly thing. But they're scalpers. They don't stick with the trade. Now, could you have actually boxed this in and gotten the long to begin with? That's another 10 ticks. But what about those little trades? Let's see if we can find one that you box in that they don't pay out. I like these deep retracement trades myself. Okay, here's an example, like let's see. I think that would have possibly faked you in. Let's say that you would have been boxing this in just right around this area right here, and you got faked in with the close of a bar on that bar right there. To me, that's not a long trade. That's a short trade. Now, it turned out to be a nice little short and then a long. But these phantom trades, if you trade them exactly the way they're taught, they work. If you don't trade them the way they're taught, then no. But what? Just to give an example, what if somebody said, okay, we're boxing in at mid-band for a short. Would you take a short there? Anybody? If you box this in right here, would you take that short? Well, sure, it worked out, but what trade worked out better? The phantom trade did. See where it went? Now, do you stick with it? No. What you're looking for in a phantom is you're looking on a long, you're looking for line 1 to 2. If it bounces off and closes a bar above, you're going to get those 10 ticks more than likely. But I wouldn't go for a gusto. Now, you could go for a gusto if you simply use lightning as your stop, because the moment that it breaks lightning as a stop, it's going to get you out anyway. Even with your 4th contract, if you wanted 4 in there. But let's say you did 2, and you go for the mid-band for 10 ticks, but you leave a runner on. Well, where would your runner get stopped out? Draw your lightning and you'll see. Where would this get stopped out? When it closed below that line right there would be lightning 1. So it would have gotten you out. So you would have gotten in, gotten your 10 ticks, ride your runner, got stopped out. Another phantom. Let's just check it out. All right, that one didn't trigger. Now you're green. That one didn't trigger because it turned red. You could take it as far as that goes. You want to box it in, though. If you turn red on your background, that negates the phantom a little bit, but you can still box them in, okay? And you didn't get that one. Now, here's another phantom set up right here. See, that phantom worked a little bit. From line 7 to here, you might have gotten 10 ticks, but if you didn't, you really didn't get stopped out except at cost. And then you look for another phantom. There's your phantom right there. You got to mid-band, so you got 10 ticks. There's another phantom. That's your line 1 phantom. That's 10 ticks. Your phantom again. That's 10 ticks. Where did you get stopped out on it? the moment it breaks your lightning. Still short mid-band. Looking for another phantom, ratcheted down. There's your phantom. Definitely 10 ticks. Where would you get stopped out of it? Well, watch your lightning. Right above that swing is where your lightning will trigger. So if you got in here at line 6 and your stop is automatically done by the lightning indicator, you got stopped out right there. Had another phantom here. Where would you get stopped out? Ratcheting down, ratcheting down, ratcheting down, ratcheting down, stopped out right there. I think they work, but you got to trade them right. Okay? Does anybody have any questions on how you trade the phantom, though? Because I've had people say, well, isn't this a phantom? No, that's not a phantom, because your midband is red, so your phantom's way up here. That's where you're shorting that deeper retracement. Your long phantom is down here. So you're always looking for 2 to 1 only on long trades, and you're looking for 6 to 7 on short trades. That's your phantom. We've got people all the time that will take a trade like that, and like I said, with oil, with a couple of contracts, a $200 bill is never anything to sneeze at when you see that on your P&L. Can you just take 10 ticks on them and not even go for any kind of a taking you out? Sure, just go for 10 ticks. Just call it a phantom trade. Make a template on your object trader called phantom. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about how to trade looking from the left to the right? Looking left to trade right. Let's go ahead and fast forward this just a little bit, because I want somebody to call the next trade if you see it. Not stair-stepping up yet, is it? We actually turned on our box and we got a short. Where's our swing? If we only got one contract, we're just going to go for the swing itself, right? If we had 2 contracts, we could actually go for that one and this one. Or you could simply turn on your power meter, and if it goes against you, go ahead and take it out. See, like right now, your power meter's red. Let's just see what it does. Power meter went green. You got another short right there. See the resistance area? By the way, we called that trade in the room on Friday, didn't we, with the resistance on that? Let's see if it works. Too quick, I couldn't get it. Oh well. See if we get our target. Got our target. So if you draw on your charts, you think it'll help you out? Because you should be able to look at any chart, and I'm going to take this off right now, and let's see if this works out. We don't know where this is going just right now. But drawing on my chart, I've got a high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So basically, I've got resistance right across here. I've got support right now right across here. So I'm like in a range, right? For right now. Okay, let's see if we can pick another trade. We're thrust and retrace traders, so we got to get a thrust. There's your thrust. We're retrace traders, right, everyone? There was a little rollover. That's a 10-tick rollover, right? Just the way we teach it. Now, wouldn't that be $200? See, we had our line drawn and everything. So could you have shorted that trade? Does anybody remember that trade in the room on Friday? We called that trade. Does anybody remember? As a matter of fact, we had a line drawn at mid-band, and we even said if it closed above that line, we were going to get out. Did it close above that line? Let's see what happened. I'm going 500 times, so we're not going to trade it. So why did I actually call and take that trade right there? Because it fit the criteria that we're looking for. Look to the left to trade the right. Does everybody see how to do this now? It makes a world of difference if you really start seeing it. What's happening right now, by the way? You just changed trends, didn't you? See, it just took out resistance. So what kind of a trade are you looking for next? Anybody? What kind of trade are you looking for? Well, if you're a gutsy trader, you could actually, if you missed this trade already, because we do talk about boxing these in, and we didn't just now get it. But what if you said, you know what, if this comes, let's say we don't want to take this out, that's our swing. So if we get any kind of a higher low, we just simply hit a buy button. See, we just got a higher low. And we could put our stop just underneath there with exit on close. Let's see if it works. Worked good enough for me. Higher low again. Bingo. Okay. Another trade. What are you looking at? Look to the left to trade the right. Where did it actually hit on top of your swing? See that lightning 3 swing? Nailed it. So could you trade like this from now on, looking at your chart? Looking to the left to trade the right. Okay. If you were not in this trade right now, what would you expect this to do? Well, if I was looking at this trade just getting up, for instance, I would want it to retrace. Looking to the left to trade the right. It's already checked that one here, so I'd be looking for this one. That could still be a higher low. Okay. If it breaks this, I would expect it to actually very possibly even head down. So here's 2 trades I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for a break and a pullback. Yeah, drew a line instead. Or if this is going to be in a range right now, I'd be looking for a break above here, thrust retrace, and actually take a trade somewhere in this area. It's double topping so far, by the way. But I'd be looking for a thrust and a pullback into like mid-band as this mid-band starts stair-stepping back up. Let's see what it did. Hopefully I've got enough data. Just almost kissed resistance and rolled over, didn't it? Does anybody see what we call a minimum criteria trade setting up as we speak? Anybody? Stealth, line 2, broken. Could you box this in if it's broken like that? Let's see if it works. And then we're going to be done. There's minimum criteria. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get up to, see, they've already tried to check this. See where I said thrust retrace? So they've already tried to check that. So I don't expect them to take that out. So here's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So if it pops up here and rolls, it'll get me in. Or if it breaks this little box right here, it'll get me in. And I'm going to only take a chance with one. Let's see if it works. That's minimum criteria. Okay, see how that minimum criteria can work? There's your stealth, broke, we boxed, line 2. We can move our target out of the way. And we would simply get out when? Well, you got a swing right across here now. Now you've got a swing right across there. Look to the left to trade the right. target down here at the bottom. Fade it a little bit just in case it bounces. And let's see what it did. It'll either stop us out or give us a good trade. Lower high. Stopped us out instead. Okay? So now what are you looking for? Anybody? Retrace. Where's it going to hit? I can show you. Look to the left to trade the right. That's your swing. And it came awful close to it, didn't it? Came awful close to that swing. Would you already be short on this trade? Yes or no? Well, it broke this little swing right here. If you did, you'd have to put your stop here. So what you could do with a trade like this, if you already missed it, is you could put it like on top of like a previous support level to the left. Thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. Now you could even do something like this even, but that's fairly deep. And I would look for a kiss within 2 ticks of that swing and see if we can get one or the other. See what it does. That's like boxing in an under midband. Support area again. Looks like it's going to tag our top. Almost got it. Almost got it. It's going to be a break instead, maybe. Yep. Break instead. All right, see how I did that trade right there? Now, it didn't quite come to my resistance. Okay? Didn't quite, but look at that predictor that it came to. I should have gone ahead and just tagged it then. But let's go ahead and tag one more if it takes out that swing. And then we'll put our stop just above that swing right there. And you can clearly see we got a trade. Okay? That's exactly how you look to the left to trade the right. Okay? So if you miss this particular trade right here, what's the criteria, everyone? You've got to wait for it to thrust and pull back. That would have been a good trade, by the way, if you use stealth to get along. But we're not thrust traders as much. We're retrace traders. So draw on your charts and let's see if we can nail one more and then we're done. All right, we're going to draw our lightning 3. Look to the left, trade. That's our midband. It's another swing right over there to the left. Swing right here and midband. Can't take out this swing here if we're going to head up. See the thrust, retrace, thrust? So here's our little sweet spot right down here around midband. Let's see if we can get it. Minimum criteria is also met. And I put my stop just under that swing because it shouldn't take it out. And then I would add one. Happen to break that little swing. And we'd put our target, if we wanted to scalp it, just like right across there. Now keep in mind, I've only got one target turned on, so unfortunately it's stacking them up on that one target. But let's see if it hits it, and then we're done. Now, does that work? Looking to the left to trade the right and also using your midband. Wow, we just missed hitting our target. We're going to get stopped. I've got this going 500 times, so no, 100 times. We're still okay, it looks like. But I would have tagged that at that top if it wasn't going so fast. because it looks like it's going to get us. Nope, still missed us because we put our stop underneath the swing. I think we're going to get our target. I put my stop now right there, right underneath that swing. Now keep in mind, you can also look to the left to trade the right with your minor swings too, because you've always got to remember that when they break these micro swings, they come down closer and check these medium swings. And you've got to know, for instance, what would be the lowest that you would expect this to continually head up instead of down. And you can clearly see on your chart, you got a high, you got a low, you got a higher high. So if they hold this, you're still looking at long trends. Let's see what happened. We may be running out of. It's a phantom trade. See there? How'd we know that? By looking to the left to trade the right. Okay? Be sure and keep an eye on these little swings like this because they're amazingly accurate. Okay? The way we've designed the software and everything, I think you're going to find them to be amazingly accurate. What was that also? Anybody? That was a phantom trade. First time into phantom after a what? Trend change. It went from short to long midband, first time phantom, and why anybody wouldn't like that trade would be beyond me. Because what if you boxed it in here at midband instead, like this? Let's say that you saw it, oh, it's above midband, it's above midband. Well, who got in the better spot on that trade? This guy or this guy? Or lady? They both paid. But which was the better entry? That phantom trade, absolutely. Okay? Anybody trade this in the afternoon on Friday, by the way? Oil was a monster. I nailed this trade right here and got out right at this predictor. And I'll be darned if I'm seeing this now because this actually came within 30 minutes. You had so much movement on oil, it was unreal. Look to the left to trade the right. There's a little phantom. See if it looks like we ran out of space. Ran out. Does everybody see there's probably a trade right down here also? And could you actually get ready to take a trade like that? Phantom trades are great. I'd highly recommend them. All right. Let's see. When do you have time to go over using OT and predictors? Stephen, I can do that on Monday a little bit. Yeah, predictors work quite well too. See, there's a thrust retrace into a predictor and took off. We're going to design Object Trader Ninja 8 to where it's going to automatically look for some of these trades like this. And what I think I'm going to do is actually make it to where it's looking for X ticks above line 1 and a close above line 2. And then put your stop at line 0. I think that'll be a monster nice trade. All right. Lewis, just give me a shout on that. I'm not sure if I missed your question. I apologize. This went way longer than I planned to. Can we do it Monday morning after the room closes? Oh, you mean just a one-on-one, Stephen? I can talk to you about that. Sure. Okay, everyone. Thanks very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And keep in mind, if you'll look at these charts, the way we teach them and draw those lines on your charts, you're going to be very surprised how many times they will do those checks. Very, very surprised. Okay? You'll get some good trades. Promise you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Monday morning. Bye now.